what we saying, guys? So recently I asked you guys some of the system changes that you guys wanted to see in the next patch. So today I'm going to go through some of your suggestions. Please like and subscribe as this helps the algorithm push the channel, and let's get into it. So let's start with chip damage on key blasts and beams. For example, now I'm Super Saiyan Vegeta and I'm throwing key blasts, right? UI has no reason to want to not block. Why? Because he's literally not at risk. For example, if the key blasts were doing this kind of chip damage every time I threw them, look at the chip damage this is doing. If these were doing that kind of chip damage, a DR, any stray hit would cause a decent amount of damage. And what this does is it automatically boosts zoners. Zoners now have a reason to zone, right? Because they're getting rewarded by chip damage. So any stray hit would cause a decent amount of health to the opponent. And what this also does is it allows games to end faster, because if you get hit whilst having that kind of chip damage, you're going to lose a lot of health. So the next one is recovery on whiff for EX moves that go full screen. So let's use Vegeta as an example. Vegeta's doing EX legs and you can just backdash immediately after. Very little recovery and a lot of rewards for very little risk. Not optimized at all, but look at the damage. For very, very, very little risk, you can literally just backdash this. Then you go on to talk about EX moves no longer being medium starters when they go full screen through key blasts and beams. I don't know how the devs are going to do that, to be honest. I'm not really sure how they're going to do that. The thing about them not being medium starters is because of the lack of mix, in my opinion, in this game, you need moves like this to compensate for it. If there was more mix, then I wouldn't mind EX moves being light starters, right? But because there's not enough mix, that is probably why they're giving us that kind of reward for half a bar. I feel like they should give it for the whole cast so it's a bit more fair, but the lack of mix is the reason why they're probably doing this. Remove guard cancel vanish, I agree. Air vanish. Guard cancel air vanish. If people want to spend 2 bars for the mix to get out of the mix, that's their business. They can get punished for it anyway, so I don't think that's too bad because they're spending 2 bars for it. Add level 3 Oki to every character in the game, I agree. I feel like at least if you're spending 3 bars, you should get guaranteed mix. Give it to everyone in the cast, at least, so everyone has something they can do. Alright guys, so now we're talking about auto combos not tracking, right? And not the third hit not coming out on whiff. So auto combos are obviously in the game for like people who are new to fighting games and just trying to get a feel for the game, right? The fact that auto combos track, in my opinion, I never really agreed with it. I didn't understand it. Why is it going to track? You're literally like, some people's auto combos, is better to do the auto combo in some scenarios because it's going to track. Teen Gohan, Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4, for example, right? These kind of characters, you can literally just do auto combo and it will track for you. Look at Gogeta Blue. Literally, it's just homing. It's like a homing missile. Literally just going towards Super Saiyan Vegeta, right? Auto combos, in my opinion, I feel like if you do the full auto combo on whiff, it has to have ridiculous recovery frames. You need to be in some sort of penalty, because how can you be rewarded for doing this? It really doesn't make sense. And the way it tracks and turns around and all this kind of stuff is mad. So I feel like they need to sort that out in this game. This one I thought was interesting. Take out air guard cancel and an active button should always take DR. I agree with air guard cancel. It does more harm than good in my opinion. And I think a lot of us will agree. And an active button should always take DR. I don't know, man. I feel like that one could be a problem. It could actually be a problem because people aren't really whiff punishing anyway. And if you're just out there putting out normals like this and someone wants to just try and DR as a whiff punish and it's active and they tech, because the button is active, it could be a problem. So I'm going to try and simulate this scenario now. Let's say like literally, imagine his 2M was a bit more active in that scenario. That's how he's just going to be teching DR because the button is active. I'm not really sure we want that. Isn't that how it normally goes, guys? Your opponent sparks, you're in the air, they vanish, they hold it, they press the button, and now all of a sudden you're in some sort of situation, right? I feel like this needs to be sorted out. The RPS in this situation is more in the favor of the person who is sparking than the person who isn't sparking, and because of the amount of damage you can do in sparking and the meter gain, it allows, this is a very big momentum shift in the game. Momentum is heavily shifted at this point in the game. When this happens, this is the difference between winning and losing and whether you can actually clutch out a game or not. Because now, if you lose a character here and the opponent has a lot of bar, it's a GG. The momentum is now shifted in their favour, and this can completely turn the tide of the game. If you spark, is a decision. If, for example, now I'm using gold tanks, I've done ghost, gold key, all this kind of stuff, right? And now you decide to spark, and now all of a sudden you can take your turn back. Why am I being punished for me forcing you to use a resource? This is the problem. Too many games have been shifted because of this whole momentum spark shift, and I know there are ways around it. It's RPS at the end of the day. It's not necessarily just as simple as what I showed, but I feel like that needs to be sorted out. And for Super Dash, raw tag I feel like needs to be maybe slowed down a little bit. You shouldn't just be able to swap out like this and think you're safe, right? There should be some sort of reward for the opponent who's willing to play the game properly and trying to tag in their characters safely. So if you're just going and doing stuff like this, right, sometimes it even crosses up, which isn't good. So I feel like they should make Super Dash come in slower if you are raw tagging, so it's not as simple as just getting a character in like that. It's not safe to do that, and you shouldn't be rewarded for not thinking like this. Do you know what I mean? Just aimlessly changing like this. It should come in slow, and then when your character comes in slow and the opponent 2H's you, you're gonna think, why did I do that? So I won't do that next time. That's it from me, guys. Please comment below what system changes you want to see in the patch next month. We are supposed to be getting the patch next month. I hope it's early July rather than late July, because the devs has kept us waiting for too long, and I don't want them to keep us waiting any longer. As always, please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.